Welcome to our episode of Holy Shit, What a Trade Deadline. I am the Endbringer of Mics, also known as Jeffrey, also known as a three-time World Series champion in this league. And I'm going to be going over incredible trade deadline that just happened. I think we had over 20 trades. Just for activity point purposes, every 2 minutes of this counts as a blog post, so I should earn like 50 or 100 points by the end of this. Okay. So let's look at the... I just want to look at the trade log. There we go. Let's start back here. We had something on 7/19. It was like just before, and it was Chad Bowman to Atlanta. That is a solid third baseman who's already been putting up incredible numbers in Atlanta. And what they give up? Sincere Blade. All right. Not much so far. Jeff Hood. Julio Figueroa. And a first-round draft pick. Okay, so the first-round draft pick is doing most of the lifting here. Chad Bowman, not that old. I feel like Atlanta's got a pretty good deal on Bowman here for how good he is. Okay, let's just move right along to the next one. Second round draft pick for Jorge Ortega. This seems pretty balanced trade. You're getting a couple years. You're going to get the rest of this season plus 2 more on an alright starter. His ratings look better than his stats so far, so maybe that'll continue. Decent trade. That's good for Brooklyn. Okay. Trade number 3. We got Dan Duncan going to the Phillies. And I think the Phillies traded for like 8 pitchers or something insane. Looks like he already got 3 games in his first week. 6.2 innings, 0.3 WAR. Great peripherals for the FIP. Really good performance. Ratings aren't that high. He is a spark plug, so that's nice. He's on a contract like you'd expect for, I guess, a free agent reliever of this caliber. Maybe a bit cheaper because there's so much money in free agency in this league. And he gave up Kevin Games, or Gamez. Gamez looks like he could become a starter. He bats right and throws left, which is so weird. You don't really see that. Also a spark plug. Yeah, this guy could become an average starter if he maximizes everything else. A lot of guys stall. He's likely to become a quality 4th outfielder, though. So I'd say that's a bit of a high price to give up for Dan Duncan, but this guy does have good stats in his pitching history, so I can understand paying a bit of a premium for that. If we're going to be calling winners and losers, I'm going to call Texas the winner in this, but it's not outrageous. And we've got more relievers to Philadelphia. AJ Tremaine. This looks like a good reliever. He's young. He's got... So he'll finish this season. He'll be at exactly 2 years of service, so he's got 4.5 years left under control. And Jabari Flukas looks like, a middle reliever that can offer some depth, might find his way on the Major League roster, not worth too much. And what's given up now? Chris Wellman. Oh, so he's moving around pitchers too. He was also trading some away. This guy also looks like he could be middle reliever or starting pitcher depth. Could be a decent starter. He is on the borderline, though. He does look like he'd be a number 5, maybe a number 4 starter. Jake Littlejohn, maybe a lottery. He'd have to get some extra development over what he currently has potential-wise to be a worthy roster spot. And Phil Jernigan, similar lottery-type situation here. Pretty balanced trade. It's mostly 2 relievers for a starter and some lottery prospects. Tremaine is a pretty quality reliever, but Wellman could be an average starter, so that's pretty balanced, I'd say. Eric Berg is a quality prospect. Now, as manager of the Reds, I don't like the 45 home run allowed rating, but my stadium likes to give up home runs, so 1.18 ballpark factors. You know, for me, I can't take that, but this is still generally a good prospect. He also has 2 really quality pitches with 3 weaker ones, so potentially he could become a high stuff reliever if starting doesn't work out for him. Plus a first round pick. Cleveland got, wow, that is quite the reliever. Quite the reliever, but almost due for free agency. He's got the rest of this year and 1 more. I can bet my bottom britches that Mike, GM of the Clevelands, is going to extend Romain Francione. And what's Cleveland's record like right now? So 61-58. They're making a push for the playoffs. They're probably gonna end up with a bottom 10, bottom 15 draft pick. First round pick and Eric Berg, I'd say, is balanced for a reliever like this. Maybe. No, I was going to say maybe a slight overpayment, but this guy has actually been performing really well too. So, pretty balanced trade. Almost all the trades we've seen so far, I think, have been pretty balanced. Cleveland, another push for pitchers Juan Abelar. Looks like a decent swingman. Now, bats right, throws left. We see that on pitchers sometimes. It's not that weird for them, but we saw it on that one outfielder earlier, and that was weird. All right, really just a standard pitcher, nothing special here. This is a pretty solid quality starter. And Brooklyn is just totally out of players at this point, by the way. Can we look at Brooklyn? They are 53-67. They have nothing of quality left save for Mike Pierce. And apparently, well, that's not even a good reliever, so they have completely just gotten rid of everything. I guess they didn't get rid of Deshaun Phoenix, who could be worth something. Oh, this guy's having a good year. Well, you know, let's not look at them too much. That's a decent starter. But let's go back to trades. Mike Wojciech? I'm not sure. It's some sort of Polish last name. Has decent pitching stats in the past, not that high recently. He's got this year under contract, and that's it. I imagine he's going to get extended. Getting a 2nd round and a 5th round pick from that. I gotta say, this guy probably, if this guy is wanting a really big extension, then you can just drop the qualifying offer on him and he'll deny it. And you'll end up getting basically a bottom of the 1st round pick, which would be worth more than the 2nd and 5th round pick. So I'm assuming he doesn't want that much from an extension. Otherwise, this trade doesn't make any sense. So he's not going to want that much, in which case he's going to get extended, and this trade makes more sense. But this is quality starter, good move by Indians. Let's see what else they've got. They got more pitchers. Jesus. They got 1 there, they got 2 there, they got 3 here. Philadelphia also brought in a lot of pitchers. Let's see. Jeff Bergeron. I like this guy. His name's Jeff. I can't complain. Already shitting it up for him, though, in the first game. Well-deserved loss. 8 runs in 3 innings. But this guy can pitch. Look at these ratings. He's under contract for a few more years. He's pitched very well. So they should have given up a lot in this trade. Let's see what else they got. They got another quality starter in Tiet Tuan. He is under contract for this year only. I'm guessing probably someone that's going to be extended as well. Joey Phillips. Okay, this looks like a quality center fielder. This is a huge trade. The Cubs gave up a lot here. These guys are in their older 20s, but they're quality and they've got at least a couple more years in them. What did they get in return? Steve Harper, not really worth much. So what else do they got? Joe Drury. Okay, this is a really good starting pitching prospect. This guy could make the whole trade worth it for them, but I think this isn't enough. Let's see if they got something else good here. Steve McGee. This guy has got a lot of development so far. He's close to being a good starter. Right now, he's like a 4th outfielder at best. Looks like someone you can platoon. He needs to get these last 5 rating points in all these categories. And then, honestly, his range at only 50. Hopefully you can bump that to 55 in an off-season training, and I'd put him in the outfield. Otherwise, I might use him at... Looks like he could learn first base or DH. I have good defensive outfielders, though. Some teams, this would fit right in. And a 3rd and a 4th round draft pick. You know what? This is a decent return. I don't know if Joe Drury's enough. You know, I'll say Drury has pretty good development for his age. 21 years old, already 35 overall. That's good for speaking about his potential future development. I think Chicago didn't get enough here. Cleveland got a pretty good deal on these guys. Well, they are all at quite a few years of service. You know what? I might take that back. This is a lot. I feel like I would have had to pay more, but maybe that's just me. This one's kind of hard to judge. But anyways, really good for Cleveland in that these are going to be humongous in making a playoff push. 3 quality starters. Okay, on to the next one. We've got Jimmy McMahon. This is an incredible quality starter. 2-time All-Star. Cy Young Award-winning pitcher even. Look at that. Multiple years with at least 6 WAR. And his ratings have dipped a little bit from there. But he still has quite the ratings. He's on a really team-favorable contract, too. I hope they gave up a lot for this. And they got Jake Weiss. Good first baseman. Honestly, though, I've looked at Jake Weiss before. His ratings do not match his stats. He has been an overperformer. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep that up with the Phillies. I feel like some guys just overperform for some teams, and you don't want to move them if that's the case. He's definitely a good player either way, even if he doesn't end up overperforming. But we'll see. He's on a decent contract. He is over 30. And what did they give up? Daniel Ortega. Okay. A solid prospect, but not that much so far. Chris Miller. Okay, that's nothing. Jonathan Peterson. Well, that's an okay starting pitching prospect. They didn't give up crap. Okay, here's the thing. I'm guessing Daniel Ortega. So I'm seeing Osa rates him 40 out of 60. I'm guessing on the other side of this, a different scout has him at 65 or 70 potential. Because this guy and what's given up here is not enough for Jimmy McMahon, who's still under 30 for at least a little bit on a team-friendly contract for years of control, an excellent pitcher, plus Jake Weiss. You're only giving up Daniel Ortega, Chris Miller, and Jonathan Peterson. Those last 2 guys aren't worth that much. This guy's already a major leaguer, Jonathan Peterson, without really much room to develop. He's been just a decent reliever. He could be a starter. He could be an average starter. Maybe slightly above average. Let me see what happens if I change him to starting pitcher. Here's the thing, though. This splitter isn't developed, and it's probably not going to at this point. He's 26. The other pitches have developed or mostly developed. The splitter's not there. if you do an off-season training, or if that home run rating develops naturally, this guy could be an average plus starter. Like looking at 3.5 WAR a year on a good side. But that is still, I mean, Jimmy McMahon. I gotta say, the Cubs let this trade go way too easily. The Phillies have a huge win here, and this will be great for their playoff push. Another trade by Philadelphia. They got Quadir Mose, who had an incredible last year, 4.9 WAR. I think he was just short of winning the Gold Glove last year as well. Probably his arm not helping, but definitely puts up zone runs like a madman. He's been doing that at an even higher rate this year, but again, a poor arm. His rating's not poor. It's just I'm guessing other guys are even better this year in center field. But overall, probably just an average center fielder. The bat is going to be below average, but the elite defense makes up for that. If you can get this power to develop, this guy's going to be an all-star. He is 25 already, so is that power going to develop much more? It's unlikely, but still possible. Also got plenty of team control. Last year was his rookie season, or maybe the year before that counted as his rookie season. But he's only got 1 year of service time coming into this, so you got this year and 4 more. You gave up Deshaun Hollenquist. Okay, interesting. This is an established, not quite a veteran, but he is 31. He's veteran in age, just not experience. Looks like a guy that's underperformed the last couple years, but I'd say could be an average starter still. With a decent on-base percentage, great base running, and plus corner outfield defense. He is also captain, so that's of note. You get a boost for that. It is important on a team. And also Mike Hope. Okay, so this was more of a trade than skill. Let me look. Quadir Mose. So this is looking more for, he's probably hoping, banking on this becoming great power. Maybe he needs a center fielder. I'm looking at this. Do the Phillies have an injury? They don't. So they just needed a center fielder, huh? And they probably couldn't get anything better. This guy is, like I said, probably an average center fielder. There's the potential for more. And if I go back, so Hollenquist, interest. So it is a swap of outfielders. I would say Hollenquist is, even though the stats wildly disagree if we're looking at last year, Hollenquist is probably the better outfielder currently. It's captain's bonus though, but he is older, so you're getting less control out of it. And then Mike Hope is, that's a good enough first baseman. He's got great defense for first baseman. That doesn't really matter though. And then the offense is, I don't know. It's not amazing, but this could be good for first baseman. Probably about an average starter. That's what it looks like. What he's been doing recently is about an average starter, and he's still got more user control. Interesting trade. So for playoff hopes, I'm gonna say that Mose's not so useful. But this could be a long-term move. It looks like balanced trade on both sides, though. Okay, Houston. St. Louis getting Adigan from Houston. This is a great starting pitcher. The stats only look solid. The ratings say better than solid. The ratings say he's great. Osa, you know what? Osa doesn't like him as much as my head scout. Maybe my head scout's wrong, because the stats would agree more with Osa on this. Under contract for quite a while. Decent team control there. And what does Houston get for that? Andy Creech. Okay. High defense catcher. Looks like he could, if this does develop, it could be looking at a starting catcher for 6-7 years. He is already 24. His development's a bit lagging behind. So I'd want to see more from this. Not the best prospect. Okay, Chris Zimmerman has great development for a younger half 21-year-old. These defensive ratings say second or third base to me. I would try and improve these in the offseason. I wouldn't play him in the outfield. I'd say probably third base right now. If you can get a successful offseason training and say that range goes up to 60, I'd play him at second base. 55 can be a bit low for second in this league. So this is a pretty good prospect. And Chris Gracie, not worth much to me, I'd say. Wow, I'd say this was a steal. But you know that's focusing on the ratings. If I look at the actual stats, the stats have not been as high as the ratings would suggest. And maybe Osa's more accurate. My scout could be off by 10. Maybe this guy's really only a 55 overall. Maybe he's a 60 overall. Maybe he is 65. He's just been underperforming. If I'm St. Louis, I'm pretty happy with this trade. I think they want it. But if the stats are more accurate, this could be a balanced trade. Okay, Oakland trading for center fielder Luis Lujan. This looks like a better center fielder than Quidir Mose. We were just looking at that. I think it was the Phillies that got them. Yeah, the Phillies got Quidir Mose from Arizona. Solid center fielder with plenty of time left. Look at these 2.6 WAR when he's not playing a full season. That's pretty above average there. That would be like 3 over a whole season, maybe more. 2.9 per, or sorry, 3.0 per 162, and that's with his weaker rookie season included. So this guy's been doing pretty well. All right, what'd they give up for it? Brian Volpe and a 4th round draft pick. This looks about right, but you know what? I'm going to say that the talent on Lujan means if I were to declare a winner, I'd say Milwaukee won this trade. This guy has good development for age 22, except the splitter is the issue. When the other pitches are more developed and this splitter isn't at all, you're looking at a pitch that may just not develop, and then he's not going to be a very good starter with the very weak third pitch. He could still start, but his strikeout rate is going to suffer from that. He would still be a good reliever. If this splitter was developed, I think this guy would grow into be a good starter, and then it'd be a balanced trade. Actually, yeah, if you include the 4th round draft pick, it'd be a balanced trade. I think this splitter maybe should have been viewed at more negatively than it was. This guy is probably not worth it with the 4th round. I think Lujan was worth more than that. It's good for Oakland. Oakland currently 64-47. Or they were a week ago. In first place, that's good for their playoff push. We've got St. Louis trading for Dylan Ankney. Another bats right, throws left guy. The 3rd one in all these trades. This is decent reliever depth. Nothing special about this guy. The stats are mediocre. I know it says he's a 55 overall. I don't know what Osa's thinking about calling this guy 65. That's not a 65. The individual ratings aren't that high. He's got a poor personality too. The stats aren't that high. So just kind of a guy if you needed someone, you need to fill out a bullpen, right? And not much given up, but this guy isn't worth much. Pretty balanced trade. A few unlikely to hit lottery tickets. This guy's 18, so you got more chance for him to up dev into higher potential. Ernesto Inzuna. Same could be said with Eric Price, though he's already 19, a little bit less likely. Not as good defense. Inzunza, probably the most valuable prospect here, and decent return. St. Louis, if they needed an extra reliever, then it's good for them to get this trade. But overall, not that important in the grand scheme of things. Okay. We've got Joey Westermeyer, Jim Leatherwood for OSK Tinsley. OSK Tinsley is pretty good looking first baseman. So this is his first full season. He's been doing pretty well. What's his... The service time this year is at 136 days, so it will be he'll be at 1 full year after this year. 5 more after that. It looks good. You can play him at first or DH. He's been playing DH. Okay, what did... This was Brooklyn. Okay, I was going to say, I don't remember this guy in Brooklyn, but if he's a rookie this year, that's why I haven't heard of him before. They got Joey Westermeyer. It's a decent pitching prospect. A lot of pitches. You like that. Even if this, like one of them doesn't develop well, another one can fill in. You only need a few pitches to actually develop. Jim Leatherwood, an alright prospect here. I'd say they didn't give up enough for Tinsley, given how much control he still has. This guy looks like he could be good. You know what? Osa doesn't like him. Maybe my scout is seeing things. He actually hit 60 overall after the trade happened. I know it says 8-9 here, but the in-game date would have been 8-2. So he's up-devved. The power actually went past the rating here. So did the eye. They went up from 50-55, both of them on my side. And this was very high rating, so this just is maybe very fortunate timing for Seattle, because they ended up getting a bit of a steal here, but really they just got lucky with an increased development happening after the trade already happened. Okay. Colorado with Matt Clark and okay, they got Matt Clark, great pitcher from Texas. This guy's a beast. He's also a captain. He's gone over 6 WAR 3 times, and he's getting close to averaging. Look at that, 5.7 there, 5.2 there, 3 times All-Star. No Cy Young, but he definitely could win one. Still only 27. He's got a few years of control left at $20 million a year. This guy is a beast. What'd they give up for it? Danny Adams. Okay, this guy, pretty good pitching prospect. 28th overall prospect in FSL. He's got good development on his pitches and his home run rating for his age. The control, you'd like to see a bit more. Sometimes that does lag behind, so it's not a huge concern. The difference between, say, 60 and 70 control also isn't as important. So even if he doesn't fully hit the control, if he hits the stuff and the movement, he should still be a good starter. But if he hits everything, he should be a great starter. Edgar Moreno looks like a good infielder. Incredibly high development for a 20-year-old. He does have extreme development risk, according to my scout at least. But this guy looks like he should be a really good starter in the future. Juan Reyes, decent catching prospect. Typical development for a 21-year-old, maybe a bit on the short side. High defense catcher. Could become a decent starter. Never going to be worth too much, though. They also give up a first and second round pick. So, you know what? These top 2 guys they gave up, Danny Adams, Edgar Moreno, are fairly quality things to give up. First and second round draft pick are big too. Is that enough for Matt Clark? Is it too much? You know, I'm a bit biased here because I already looked at this trade earlier when I saw it happen, and I'm like, oh my god, I would have given my left nut for Matt Clark if I knew he was available, because this guy's a beast. But I don't think they underpaid per se. You know, I don't know if I can say that because they really did get. I mean, a first and a second round pick is big. Danny Adams is a really good pitching prospect. Edgar Moreno doesn't have the same potential as that pitcher, but his development is so high at 20. He looks like a surefire thing to become a solid starter. All right, Cincinnati trade. There's supposed to be two Cincinnati trades, but one is missing. I'm gonna have to look into that. I had one with Seattle that they said they would submit in game, but maybe they didn't submit it in game. I'm gonna have to put them on blast. I also traded with Texas. I got Jeff Johnson from them. We always love a Jeff. He's already doing, he's already struggling a little bit. 7.7 ERA in the one game. We did lose 6-5 that game. The peripherals are okay though. I mean, 1 home run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 4.2 innings. Ratings are great. This guy's got the rest of this year, 1 more year under control. He's probably gonna opt out given how good he's been. He didn't win the Cy Young that year with 7.2 WAR and all that. That's crazy. I gotta wonder, did he win it and it didn't get put in? Who won Cy Young that year in 2036? I don't know. But this guy's great. He's led the league in Ks 3 times. He's got high Ks this year too. He does have high stuff. Probably not going to lead the league this year. He's only 60 stuff now. Used to be 65, I believe. But still a great starter. I had to make room in the rotation for him, actually. Chris Borland is in the bullpen now. So there's that. And what did I give up? I gave up a second-round draft pick. Gave up Chad Hover, who this guy looks like a really good pitching prospect on the surface. His potential did come into him later. So he didn't hit that 65 potential until just 2 seasons ago, which may explain his lack of development. You would want to see a 24-year-old with more development, but he didn't have this potential until he was 22. The control is really lacking. The changeup is lacking, though changeups usually do lack. It's not in the death zone is the good thing about the changeup. 20 or 25 is the death zone. 30 rating, I feel like you're more expected to see it develop the rest of the way. The question is this guy a late bloomer? When you see the potential come up later on in the prospect's life, they're more likely to be a late bloomer in my experience, where their overall will also bloom late. I can't tell if I know this is going to happen. I don't know. It's, if it does happen, then this guy's going to be great. If it doesn't, then it's a dud, right? That's all I can say. Juan Cabrera. Decent first baseman or DH prospect, great personality, potential really high batting average guy. Camden Morvant. He's got, look at these ratings, are pretty solid development for a 22-year-old, so he should probably turn into a decent corner outfielder, average to average plus starter out there. These offensive ratings, 55 contact, power, and eye, all a bit above that 50 sort of average mark. So that should be good for him. The defense is serviceable. It's decent. And a second-round draft pick. So all that for Jeff Johnson. I feel like that's pretty balanced. It's a trade I made, so of course I would think that, right? Yeah, let's go on to the next trade. Seattle got Juan Navarro. Okay. This guy just looks like a whatever reliever or starting pitcher. Kind of just a fill-the-ranks player if you need something. And giving up Johnny Leday and Clay Naus, kind of whatever prospects. Maybe could have given up a bit more. I mean, I see 45 potential on these guys. But then this pitcher, even if the ratings look pretty poor here, is still given 50 overall. at least to my scout and Osa, both. And has been that way for a while, so probably I'd say this is a win just looking at that. Well, you know what? This isn't that good. Actually, this isn't that good of a contract. Because this guy, if he loses any of his ability, then he's quickly just not worth a roster spot at all. If anything goes down by 5 here, he's not worth a spot. And this whole contract becomes basically dead. So I'm actually going to say this is a pretty balanced trade. But good for Seattle in a playoff push. And, you know, all these times I'm saying it's like good for the team making a playoff push. It's also good for rebuilding for the other team or shedding salary, whatever. I'm focused on the playoff push aspect of this, though. Seattle getting a horde of players here. My goodness. Okay. Humongous prospect Andres Mendola. My God. Okay, this guy has good but not great development for his age. But he has great potential. He could fully actualize all of that. He was murdering AA this year. So that's really good look for him. Andres Mendola. Juan Granados. Solid starter, it looks like. Looks like a good number 4 type of starter. Stats say maybe a little bit worse than that. No, stats, the ERA plus is low, but the WAR for the innings pitched is good. Solid starter. Andres Navarro. This guy does not have the defensive rating at second base yet. He's got 60 range and enough error and DP. I'd say you could play him at second base. He just doesn't have the experience here. Is that where they're using him? They are. He's going to put up big negative zone runs this year. Big negative. Not being trained at second base. Well, he is trained at shortstop. So when you know shortstop, you learn second base faster, I believe. So it might not be the end of the world for him. Pretty solid bat. 60 contact, 55 eye, 45 power. It's pretty good. Good base running too. 88 grade there. 65 stealing is borderline where they start to provide some value from stealing, but it's not really anything significant yet. So they better have given up something huge because they got Andres Mendola is a titan of a prospect. So Kyson, okay, pretty good starting pitcher prospect. Not nearly as good. The changeup is in the death zone. It's only 25 rated right now. So it would need to crawl out of that. Steve Stanley. Oh, so here's what they gave up. Now this guy's already a good starter. Already a great starter, perhaps. With potential to be an MVP or Cy Young candidate. And Baltimore got a first and second round draft pick. Now I got to go back and think, what else did they get besides Mendola? Was that worth it? They got the starter in Juan Granados. They got the starter in Andres Navarro. Okay. And then did I look at this last guy? Asunciao Lagrange could become corner outfield starter of average ability. Okay. Man, this one is hard to say. I feel like, wow. This one's hard. This one's hard to judge. Steve Stanley. It's a beast. If they believe in Andres Mendola, it absolutely makes sense, this trade. This is such a weird trade. I think it's balanced. But it's you're trading away someone good and then you're getting a couple other starters. I think Seattle is rebuilding this year. So maybe they're looking at Granados and Navarro. It's like, okay, we are going to play him for these last couple months, but we're really looking for next year or the year after. Because they are 47-71. And that also makes this first and second round draft pick really good. I feel like that pushes it to me that Baltimore won this trade. But it could work out for Seattle. Okay, St. St. Louis got Joe Floyd, gave up a 5th-round draft pick. This is a pretty good reliever, but he's 32. He's on the last year of his contract. He's getting $15 million a year. Oh, he was acting as a starter. Wait a second. He's got 4 pitches. Yeah, he's a starter. Okay, not as good as a starter, but really good home run allowed rating. Really good movement. I'd use him as a starter still, but it looks like he is going to be a reliever. Oh, this is interesting. It's pretty balanced. This guy is old. Even if you extend him, it's unlikely he's going to do too much for you. 5th-round draft pick. I would, if I'm doing a trade like this, I want to be on St. Louis's side and take the odds that maybe this guy can give me some good years in his 30s. But I can't say it's a bad trade. Now, Seattle, looks like they input their other trades. Hold up, let me put Seattle on blast for a second. I had a trade with Seattle. Let me make sure I'm not missing this. And it's like I just skipped over it. Okay, there's no... Cincinnati's here. This on this side's from way back when. Cincinnati on this side. It's only right here. Okay, so there was Sam Reed. Did the trade go through? It's just not... Okay, you know what? The trade went through. It just wasn't showing on this. So, hold up. No blast for Seattle. Devin is fine. Wait, Devin's not the GM there anymore. No blast for R. That's their Discord name, R. Is that really it? Do they have a different name in the server? King Triton. Okay, no blast for Triton. I don't know why it wasn't showing in the trade screen. But here's... Maybe there might be other trades I'm missing, because I'm not going through all the trades on Discord. I was looking at the trades in game. I know this one because I'm involved in it. So they got Sam Reed, who is already 26. He's just now getting into the majors. He's got 2 pretty good pitches, so he can be a good reliever. He has just enough stamina and some other pitches. He can be an all right starter. 50 overall, 55 potential. He is a guy that came into this potential really late in his career, like 25 before his 50 potential. 26 before he's 55 potential, and I don't know, the scouting says it's not even there now. It was 55 potential at 25. Okay, this is as a reliever. That's why it's 55 potential. So decent reliever now. Could become a decent starter. You got all the control you could ever want on him at his age. He's a spark plug. Okay. They got Sam Reed. And I'm going to have to go to the BNN page to look at the trade on this. They also got Josh Kasparowski, who 45 overall. Not really enough at center field. The 65 range is just enough for center field. He's only 23, about to turn 24. You look at these ratings, though. He has a split. 55 contact, 55 power, 45 eye. That's solid. That's definitely starter worthy in the outfield somewhere with a platoon. You can't use him against lefties. You need to find a right-handed or a switch-hitting outfielder to platoon him with that has good ratings versus lefties. But this is a guy where you plus another side for the platoon could be overall an above-average starter. But he is just barely above average, I would say, and that's only against righties. So as a whole, it's a decent guy. I would, if you move him to left field, he does go to 50 potential. Osa disagrees with that. But anyways, those 2 guys were traded for a 3rd and a 5th round pick, which that's about right, I'd say. Honestly, I'd say I slightly lost the trade, but I just don't need either of these guys. Sam Reed or Josh Kasparowski are a little bit of excess depth I'm not needing, so being able to trade these for draft picks is certainly good for me. And that is all of the trades. Thank you for watching. 45 minutes. Let me just count the trades real quick. So there was one from Sam Reed. This one that wasn't showing on the trade screen for some reason, the trade log. I don't know why that one's not showing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 trades. I think there's others that aren't showing because I think I counted at least 20 plus. So there's probably a few I missed. Cleveland, Philadelphia, and Seattle were all huge in making trades. I see at least 4 trades with Philadelphia here. I see at least 3 trades with Cleveland. I don't see them anywhere on this side, so I think it's just those. Seattle with these 4 plus the one that with me that's not listed, so they had at least 5 trades. That was FSL's 2038 trade deadline. Absolutely humongous. Thank you for watching. Bye.